Welcome back. Okay, so now that we're logged in, let's find a way to fetch the user. So I'll go inside the user, here, the functions in Convex. Okay, so we're done with this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say export how we can fetch user by Clerk ID. Okay, I think that's fine. And we're going to use query. So I'm just say query, import query from here. Okay, great. And this, great. So we'll need an argument, which will be Clerk ID. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say const user should be equal to await, right? ctx dot db dot, okay. Then I'm going to use with index. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I need to put the query first. So query, so I'm going to query the user's database. Okay, then with index by Clerk ID, then Clerk ID, and you can see that we're supplying the Clerk ID as an argument. And here, I'm just going to use unique instead. Okay, so all of these things are from the documentation. I just want one. Okay. So now if there is no user, right, I can throw an error that user not found. But if user exists, right, remember that we said we'll have user, and user will also have image URL. So we're going to say that if there is no image URL, right, or there is user. Okay, so what we're saying is that if there is no image URL, right, and if there is also image URL, right, but if it starts with, so we can use something like start with, then in parentheses we just say HTTP, right? So whether I start with HTTP or HTTPS, right? If it starts with HTTPS, then it means it's a different URL, maybe from Clerk, the one we had from Clerk or whatever it is, right? So in that instance, we'll only return the user, right? But if that one does not exist, then we'll need to get the URL. So assuming the user uploaded an image and it is stored in Convex, we'll need to get the URL, because that one will only have the ID. The storage ID will be saved there. So and we can just use the storage ID. So we'll need to get the we'll need to generate a URL. So we'll just say cta.storage, right? Dot get URL. Okay. Then we'll pass in user.image URL to it. Right. So, but I'm going to say that it should be as a storage thing. So I'll import ID from here, generated data models. Then I'll say it's a storage ID. So what we're passing here, the type is a storage ID type. Okay. So we just get it like this. So once we get it like this, what we can do is I can say I will I will spread the user and add the image URL as this, right? Great. Okay. In the same manner, we can also get user by, we can also say const get user by ID, right? Which will this time not be the Convex ID, but this time it will be the ID that we will provide. Okay. Sorry, which will not be the Clerk ID, but this time it's a Convex ID. So we'll pass the context, which is of type query CT, yes, query context, and we'll also need the user ID, which is of type ID. Okay, then user. Okay, great. Okay, so like this. So how do we get the user here? So we just say const user as usual equal to await, right? cts dot db dot get. We can just use get and pass in the user. Because this ID is of the type user, this query will just fetch the user. Pretty simple. Okay, and we can also do the same thing here, right? We can do this same thing here. So we can do this. And I think there's one thing that we can do, and I think there's one thing that we can do to make it easy for ourselves. Okay, so user. Okay, maybe we can put this here. Okay, so I'm just going to do something like this. Okay, I am just going to create, maybe let me just structure it. I'm just going to create genera.ts, right? Genera.ts, which I will use that one to generate the image so that it can be reused. So I'm just going to say get media URL, right? Okay, so okay, so let me try. Okay, let me toggle this. So here, what I'm doing is that, okay, so I'll accept the context and I'll accept the ID, right? The storage ID. Okay, so let me import this here. So if I accept this and I accept, maybe I should say that this will be a string first. Let me just say this should be a string, right? Okay, so here, if I say if it doesn't exist, right? Or if it starts with HTTP, then let me just return the media ID, right? Or let's just say it's a URL. Okay, so if that's not the case, so I'm just going to say new URL. So the new URL will be this, then get URL, where I'll pass in this as ID underscore storage. Okay. Okay, so like this, then I'll return this new URL, right? Okay, great. So maybe I can just go here and use this. Yeah, so maybe here I can just say await, then call this function, right? And pass in, yes, this, and also pass in this. Great. So yeah, we can use this also here. Okay, great. Okay, so now let us do some checks. So check identity, right? So I'm going to check identity by say, I'm just going to say export cons. So we want to get the current user. So how can we get the current user? We're going to use query. Okay. And here the argument will be, yeah, nothing, will not need an argument. And the handler will just say that get user, where we're going to say get current user by ID. Right. Okay, so get current user, then we'll pass in the context. Okay, so here we can just do it like return this. That's pretty simple. So whenever we call this current function, we'll just use the query to get this get current user. Okay. So how do we do the get current user? Now we can just say export async. Okay, now let me just say export cons get current user. Okay, great. Okay, so how are we going to do it? How we're going to do it is that we want to do this by saying get current user. We accept the context here, and we say identity should be equal to await ctx dot auth, okay, dot get identity. Okay, so if the okay, if there is no identity, we'll throw an error of this, but if there is, we'll return user by external ID. Okay, so we just so I'm going to say user by external. Okay, so if I say external ID, then I'll have to pass in the context and the ID, yeah, the subject here, right? Okay, and then meaning I'll have to create this function. Okay, so by external ID, where I accept the context, right? And I accept also the external ID, which I'll call Clerk ID here, or we can just say to be external ID. Okay, so in the external ID, what we're going to do is you can just say, yeah, return, return await ct, okay, dot this, where we fetch the query, the index by external ID, where will be okay, external. Oh my goodness. Okay, so external ID, great. And we say unique. Okay, so this it's here. Okay, so I'll make sure I close this one. Okay, great. So I think that should be all. And okay, so yeah, the reason we separated them is that so that we can use them individually. Okay, maybe we can even have another one by saying another one which will either fetch the user or throw an error by saying that okay, export cons cause I'm gonna say get current user or throw. Okay, so throw just means throw an error. Okay, so like this. Okay, great. So in here, we just call the get current user function, right? Okay, so if it does not exist, we'll throw an error. If it does, then we'll return the user. And this function, which is here, we'll also call this, right? Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so now we're here on the homepage. So how do we even get the user information? Okay, we can create a hook to fetch the user info. Okay, so I'll go inside the hooks folder. Okay, there is no hook, so I'll create a file in the main directory by calling it hooks / use profile.ts. Okay, great. So that's how you can create a folder and a file at the same time. Okay, so you just say you want to create a file, the folder name / then the file name, and you create the folder and the file. Okay, so to get the user, so like something like a hook where we can call it. So I'm just going to say export function, export function, use profile. Okay, so here I'm going to use the use query from Convex React, right? Okay, so use query and okay, so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this first. Let me do this. So use user, right? Okay, so you user from Expo, Clerk Expo, right? And I will now do this, and I can say that here we'll get the user, right? Okay, yes, we'll get the user from here, and when we get the user, we can say Clerk ID, right? Should be equal to user.id. Yeah, okay, great, user.id. And now here we can just say user profile grid should be equal to use query, then this. Okay, so users.get user by Clerk ID. Okay, and I'll have to pass in the Clerk ID, which is the argument. Okay, let's go and see what is the argument we're accepting. Here, Clerk ID, which is a string, and here, Clerk ID. Okay, so what is the issue? The issue is that it may be undefined. It may be undefined. Okay, so in that case, what shall we do? Okay, so maybe we can just do this. Okay, great. And okay, we can just return this. I mean, it can be easy. We can make it easy like this. Yeah. Okay, great. So now I think that's all. And that's all for this. So let's go inside here and protected. Then this page. Okay, so here let's check on the protected pages. Okay, and let's have fast stretches. Okay, so here I'm gonna do this. So cause I'm gonna say it's dark, right? Okay. So let's use team from our contest, right? And it's dark. Okay, great. We can also check whether the user is authenticated or not. So use Auth from Clerk Expo. So check if the user is signed in. Now we can now list the various tags here. Okay, so as you can see, there is this tab. header here that we don't want, right? Which is the title or the header, right? So how we can do it is we can have something like screen options. Okay. And in these screen options, we can have something called like header shown to false. Okay. And this will hide the header here. Okay. So I don't know, but let's see. Let me reload and see. Okay, so it's hidden now. And what again we can do is, okay, so there is an issue. Sometimes you see that the nav bar here, you see some dark or black color there. So to remove it, what you can do is to just say navigation. Okay, so navigation bar color, right? So I'm going to check if it's dark, then I'll make it black. If it's white, if it's light, it will be white. Okay, great. So what again left? So now we're going to have the various pages. So as I said, so in this one, we have this, we have another one called profile. Okay, so profile.tss. Okay, and I'm going to say cons. Okay, profile.t. Yes, this way. Okay, so export profile. Okay, so like this. Great. And I'm just going to put a test here. Let's say profile. Okay, and make sure this is also imported. Okay. Okay, so now inside here, so now we have these two pages, right? For the tab. Okay, and now on this page, so now on this, I'll close this. On this page, on this layout page, which is for the protected page, right? I'm going to show the various pages. So I'm going to say stack dot screen. Okay, great. And now we need the name, right? We need the name, which will be tabs. Okay, and by default, the first one will be the initial one. So tabs. So if I do this, okay, so tabs. Okay, that's right. And we can also have others whenever we add another one. Whenever we add any page, for instance, if we add page here that is, let's say edit profile.tss here, and just say cons edit profile. Okay. Something like this. So edit profile. Okay. Oh, something like this. Okay, great. Then we can add it here, right? We just need to say stack.screen, right? And refer to it. It's in the modal, then yeah, that's all. Okay. And with this one, we can also have what we call options, right? And in the options, we want it to be presented. So as a model, so I'm going to say the presentation should be, and you can see there are a lot of presentation, but I want it to be like model. Okay, great. And maybe also I can say the header shown to be false. Okay, we even said it here, so it will affect all the pages. So yeah, if you want to have the header on some pages, then you can remove this one and set it to false on the particular page. But if you put it here, the global here, it will affect all the pages. Yeah, I think so. So I can even remove this one. Okay, great. So here we are in the tab. Okay, but the tab it's not showing. So how do we get it to show, or how do we get it to work? Okay, so to get it to work, what we're going to do is we're going to create also another layout here, TSS, and say cons tab layout, and just import tab from React Router. And if I save it, check it out. Now you can see that we have two tabs. By default, it automatically picks the two files, right? Which is profile and this. And if I click here, you can see the index. And if I click here, you see the profile page, right? Beautiful. Okay, great. Now, how do we start this tab page? Okay, so let's work on this tab page. Okay, so for now, I think we'll not even need this again. So maybe I can close it. If we need it, we'll go and open it. Yeah. That's here. Okay. So I'll put this one here. Okay, so I'll import this. Oh, okay. So here also, we also have what we call screen options, and we can also set the header to false. So if I save this, you should see that the header should go away. Okay, great. So apart from that, I'm also going to have tab bar styles. Okay, so I'm going to set the position to absolute. Okay, then I will also set the bottom of 20, left 20, and right also 20. Okay, great. So you can see now it pushed up a little, right? Okay, great. Now I'm also going to say elevation of 0. Okay, then background color should be transparent. Transparent. Okay, meaning we don't want to have any color. And now I'm going to target the border top width. So that one is going to be 0. I don't want anything there. Okay, then I'm going to target the height, which will be 65. Oh, height 65. Okay, we don't have to add any unit to it. Okay, and now I'm going to target pattern bottom. Okay, so pattern bottom of 8. Great. So after this, now we can target the tab bar background. Okay, so this is going to be like a callback where I will return instantly a blur view. Okay, so blur view comes from Expo. Okay, so just come here and import blur view from Expo. Okay, so I think it's default. By default, it comes with a template, so it's installed already. Okay, so here, and now let's go here and add some props. Okay, so I'm going to say tint. Tint should be is dark. Let's check is dark first. If it's dark, it should be dark, else light. Okay, so if it's dark, dark, else light, light. Okay, we're also going to do intensity. Okay, so the blur intensity should be 80. Oh, okay. Yeah, this should be like this. Okay, great. So intensity should be 80. After intensity, what we can do is we can have a star, right? Okay, so it's a JavaScript object. So also the position will also be absolute. Top of 0, left 0, right 0, and okay, all of this, there needs to be comma. Okay, great. And bottom of also 0. Okay, great, 0. And now what we can do again is we can have the border radius of 30. Great. And I can say overflow should be hidden. Great. Okay, I don't think you see it now. So now let me put inside this a view. And okay, let me make this a self-closing view. Imported from React Native, a self-closing view. Okay. So we're just doing all of this are just decorations for the tab. Okay, great. So here, I'm also going to have pretty much the same. So I'm just going to copy from here to here and put it here. Okay, so the position is going to be absolute, top 0, left 0, right 0, and bottom 0. Then border radius 30. Okay, that's fine. And now here, I'm going to have background color. Okay, so background color, I'll check first is dark, right? If it's dark, true, then I'm going to use our GBA. Okay, so RGBA, then I'm going to say here to be 17, 24, 24, 17, 24, and 39. Then this one will be 0.7. Okay, else this should be 255, 255, 255, then also 0.7. Okay, that's right. Okay, so I'm done with the this view. So make sure you come here, right? This tab ends here. Okay, so here, then I'm going to say tab bar item. So tab bar item star. Yes, okay. So I'm going to say padding. So padding top, which should be 8, and padding bottom should be bottom should be 4. Okay, great. Okay, so we're making progress. After this one, okay, so after this, what again? There's a tab bar. Okay, active. Okay, so when the active when it's active background color, active background color. So we'll first check. So I'm just going to bring my colors. Okay, so I'll check if it's dark, then I'll show this color, else this color. Okay, great. Now let me also do tab bar active tint color. Active tint color, yes. Okay, so so that one too, I'm just gonna bring in my colors. Okay, so these are the colors. Okay, so if it's the active tint color will be this one, else if it's dark will be this, else will be this, that. Okay, and the other one, I'm just gonna say tab bar label style. Okay. Okay, so now let's have stars. So I'm going to give a font size of 12, and I'm going to give a font weight of 600. Okay, and I'll give margin top of 6. Okay, so I think you can see that it's coming up fine. Okay, great. So now we're done with all the decorations. So inside this, now we're going to have the various tabs, right? So I want to target the icons. So I'm just going to say tab. Oh, okay, it should be tabs.screen. Yes. And should it be self-closing? Yes, I think so. Okay, so we're going to target the screen. So I'll give the name. The name will be the index file. Okay, so the names here should be the same as the name of the file. So if it's index, make sure you say index. If it's profile, say profile. Don't give a different name, else it will not work. Okay, great. And now we can have tab. Oh, sorry. We can have the options. Okay, so we can have title. If you want to have title, you can put title as chart, right? So, and it will change. You see, whatever title you put here, if you put something, then it will change to something. Okay, so I'll put chart. Okay, what is this? Okay, then I'm going to say tab bar icon. Okay, so tab bar icon, and here we'll get the icon color, we'll get the size, and we'll get the focus. Right, okay, focused. Okay, so in the tab bar icon, we'll get all of these props. Oh, what is happening? Okay, we'll get all of this. Okay, so once we get them, I'm going to use a view. And inside the view, I'll put a material icon. So material community. Maybe I should just do it like this. Okay, material community icon. Okay, so I'm gonna have the name, right? So the name is gonna be this, I'm going to say if it's focused, right? If it's focus is true, it's going to be chat. Else, it's going to be chat outline. Okay, and the color will be the color and the size will be the size, right? Okay, so let's come here and import material community from Expo vector icons. Okay, great. So here, if I save, okay, so now I can see this, right? Okay, okay, this and that. Okay, you can see when I click on it, the icon class change. Yeah, okay. Okay, so by now we have this. So let's style this view. Okay, so I'm going to say style. Okay, double curly braces. I'm going to say align item. Okay, align item to center, justify to center. Width should be 50, and height of also 50. Okay, border radius of half of it to be 25, and a background. Okay, so I'm just going to copy my background color. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to say that background, if it's focused, right, it should be this, and if not, it should be this, else transparent. If it's dark, it should be this. If it's not dark, it should be this. And if it's not focused at all, it should be transparent. Okay, I hope you understand. And also, I'm going to give a padding bottom of 4. Okay, so if I save this, let's see what happens. Here, here, and here. Okay, and now I'll have the second one, which is pretty much same thing. So there will be no need to copy it. You can just duplicate it, right? And change a few things. So what you need to change is change the name to profile and change the title to whatever title you want. Same thing, the same styles, right? And yes, and here the icon changes to account and this to account outline. So if I see, now we have this two here. Great job. Okay, but there seems to be something missing, right? And let me check it out. Okay, so let me see if I change this to red. Okay, it does. Okay, I think it's working. Yeah, you can see the here. So if I say transparent, I think it's working. So when we give color to the page, I think we'll see it. Okay, there seems to be this active tint color is not working. Okay, so here, okay, so I think here should be tab bar. It should be tab bar. Okay. Okay, so the first one should be tab bar active tint color, and this should be inactive tint color, right? Great. Then this color work. Great. Or it will be like this. Great. Okay, so I think we're done with this one. So we can now move to the chat page. So we can go here inside this page. Okay. So now let's come to this page. Okay. So here, we'll also need the, I don't think we need this one. We just need this. So let's import this. Okay. Great. And here, so we don't have a chat for now. Okay, let's see if we can do something. Okay, so I'm going to change this to save area view from React Native save area contest. Okay, and I'm going to say class name this, and I'm going to say okay. So here, okay, I'm giving suggestions to flex 1, right? And if it's dark, the background should be I'm not going to use black. Let's say gray dash 900. Yeah, 900 should be fine. Okay, else it should be white. Okay, now here, okay, so I'm going to have header here. So, okay. So I'm going to use a view. Oh, okay. So let's see. So we have this, I think. I will not need this. Let me save and see what happens. Is this thing actually working? Okay, so I'm gonna have a here. Okay, I don't think I'll need this view here. Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I say I have a view and it should be flex row, items to center, justify to between, this of 4 and py of 2. Okay, okay, and the test of the chart. Yeah, okay, this is the name we have. So let's be consistent. You can put any name of your choice. Okay, so that is just the header. Okay, and here I'm gonna have the chart. Okay, so chart list will be here, and we can first check if it's loading. So I'm gonna have a dummy is loading, then I'll just say it should be true. Okay, okay, great. So here I'll first check if it's loading. Okay, so if it's loading, I'm going to create a loader. Okay, so I'll go inside the component. Okay, okay, I think this is the first time we're going to create components. So I'm going to say component slash loader.tss export cons loader. Oh, okay. Cursor is doing too much. Yeah, okay. No, not from here. Okay, so in as much as we want to trust cursor, let's also open our eyes. Well, okay, so here we're going to say that it should be flex, okay, and justify, okay, and when it is dark, this should be white, else it should be black, okay, large, and then we can also have here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's change it to this so that when it is also dark, we'll have the color like this. Okay, great. So we can just import it here. Say loader. Okay. Yes, great. So we can have it like this. So if I change this to false, then it should go away. Great, great. So now, here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create I'm going to create a file called dummy data.ts. Okay, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to use no. Let me use cursor to see. So generate dummy, or okay, let me see, generate fake chart data. Each let me just say 10. Okay, let me say 10. Each data should have fields. Okay, so underscore ID and name, image, and last message, and on read count, right? Okay, and is group. Okay, is group as, let me just say as false. Okay, let me see if we will understand what we mean. Okay, so this was supposed to be fake, not I don't know what we've written there. Okay, so maybe we can install the faker library, right? So this. Okay, so here, let's see if I can see the what's it, faker.js. Okay, so this here. Okay, so let me copy from here. Great. Okay, maybe I'll create another one. and put the command npm figure.js. So yeah, we're using figure.js figure, and let's see. Okay, so here I'm gonna put it inside double quote. Yeah, sake of this single quote here. Okay, or let me use template string. Okay, and I'm gonna do same here. Okay, so it has been installed. Okay, so yeah, chat. Okay, so here I'm going to use what we call a flat list. So if you remember, we said flat list is used to display list of items. So flat list. Okay, so let's explore it. So the flat list takes something called data, which will be the chat data. So I will import it from dummy. Okay. It also takes something called render item. Okay, so it will render a chat item where we'll pass in this. We'll also need something called a key. You know that in React, whenever you're mapping over an element, you need a key, and the key will be the ID. Okay. And there will also be list header component. Okay. So the list header component will be this here. We'll change it. So we'll put the list header component will be the stories for now. So I'm just going to say stories here. Okay. And when it is empty, okay. Okay, so when it is empty, we also want to show the empty state here. So this way, I'm going to say view. Okay, and class name. Okay, so items to center. Justify to center. Right, flex of 1, py of 20. Okay, so I'm going to have material community icon. Okay, so the name will be chat outline. Okay, so size should be big enough. How big is big? 48. You can put any color of choice, and I'm gonna say this. The color should be this. If it's dark, it should be white. If it's this, okay, yeah. And the text should also be no chat yet. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, so yeah. If I change this to an empty array like this, and okay, so now you can see this, right? Okay, great. Okay, so now I can put the chat data here back. Okay. We can also even put a message. Should we put a message that's a okay, start conversation? Yeah, kind of yada, something like that. We can put start a conversation. Okay, so let's still keep this. Okay. So now what to do next is that this can also have class name. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, so like this, and I'm going to say that it's dark, right? If it's dark, I'm going to say bg gray dash 900, else it should be white. Okay, great. And there are other things that we can give. So after this star, normally this will also have a scroll indicator, right? So we can set the scroll indicator to false. So there's a vertical scroll indicator and there's a horizontal scroll indicator. So the vertical one, that's from top to bottom, right? We don't want to have the scroll bar here, right? So we're setting it to false. Okay, so let me create this here pretty fast. Inside the component, I'm going to say chat item.tss export cons export cons cons chat item. Okay, which will be so return a view. Okay, That's right. Okay, so now I think it should work. Okay, so here we can now come here and import this from there. Okay, great. Great. So now let's work on it. Okay, so there's no need of this. So let's come inside the chat card or the chat item. Okay, so here let's have the interface. So I will just bring the interface. Okay, so now this is the interface. So we're going to say the chat should have an interface of this. The ID will be of type ID, which will refer to the chat ID that we have in our database, right? And it will be the name will be a string. The image can be there or can be null. And last message will be of this format, right? Okay. Okay, so the last message will normally be of type this, right? Or null. So we'll have, if it's last message, if it's a test, we have the test, we have the created at, we have, if it's media, we also have the media array here. Okay, we have this count and this. Okay. And we are creating this. Okay, so here, what I'll do is that I'll accept the chat, right? We could have also simplified this by saying this item chat, the same thing. Okay, great. So now this and that does not match. So I'm going to say any for now because okay, I said item there. So let me also say item. Okay, because if you remember from our dummy data, right? If you remember from our dummy data, where is the dummy data? You can see the last message, it's not in that type, right? Okay, it's not in the type that we have specified. Okay, so unless maybe we format it. Okay, so what shall we do? Okay, I'm just gonna say, okay, so let's see. Change the last message to this format. And let's see if we'll be able to do that. So I'll accept the first one. And let's see. Can also accept this. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure, pretty sure that it'll work this time. Okay. Okay, so in here now, let's go inside the chat card here. Okay, so what I'm going to say is also I'm also going to get is back from here. Okay, great. And now, because we want to be able to click on it, I should say touch. So we're going to use something called touchable opacity and make sure it's imported, right? Okay, so touchable opacity. Okay, and inside this, let's give the classes first. So class name. Okay, so class name, I'm going to say it should be flex row. Okay, items to center px of 4, that is pattern left and right of 4, and pattern top and bottom of 3, that's py. And we're going to say border bottom. And now, okay, so it's dark, right? If it's dark, then the border should be gray dash 800, else border should be gray dash 200. Okay, so let me toggle it so that you can see. Okay, so and on press, we're just gonna have okay, so let's see if this one is correct. So on press, we'll just push to this page, which does not exist for now. So maybe I'll leave it as this. Okay. Okay, so now inside here, we're gonna have profile image. So flex row, no, not needed. So let's save this. Okay, so this, it should be margin right of 3. That's all. And image from React Native. Okay, and there should be source, and the source will be URI to item.image. And now I'm also going to say class, so rounded dash full, width of 14 and height of also 14. Okay, so maybe let me just put this to make sure it will be there. And I don't know why, but it could be that it will not be there. So in case it is not there, what I will do is that I'm going to I have this dummy one, so I'm going to put it, where am I even going to put it? Let me put it inside the dummy data here. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, so no image, right? So if it does not exist, so I'm going to say all this. So no image, let me import no image. Okay, and now everybody should be okay. So this is what we have now. Okay, so now we have the image. We're done with the image. So here is going to be the chat info itself. So view. So class name, flex1, which means that it will take the entire space available. Okay, so view, another view. Okay, so class name. So I'm going to say flex row. Okay, so we want it to move from left to right and justify to between. Okay, great. Now we have a test and make sure it's imported from React Native. Okay, and that will be the item.name. Okay, so we have the name. Okay, so class name. And this is going to be a template string. So I'm going to say first font should be semi-bold. And okay, semi-bold. And if it's dark, the text should be white. And if it's this, it should be, yeah, grade 900. I think that's fine. And I think I can also even give the text color to be LG. Okay, that's getting up fine. Okay, I think it's getting up fine. So semi-bold, this, yeah, so that's the username. And after the username, below the username, we can have another test. Okay, and in this test, we're going to get something, say get formatted time. Is that how we spell formatted? Okay, so get a formatted time. And maybe, okay, so let's just create it up here. So maybe I can just put it here. Const get formatted type, which takes, okay, so formatted, is it double? Yeah, so formatted. Okay, so we'll take the timestamp, right? Okay, so I don't think I'll need a timestamp. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that first I'm going to check if there is item dot last message. If there is no last message, we just return, because if there is a last message, then we can display the timestamp. Okay, so if there is a last message, what I'm going to do is that I am going to say return this. Okay, do I even have the, let me see if I have date.js installed. Date, okay, I don't think I have date fns installed. So if that is the case, so maybe then I can use this function created no, last message dot created at. Okay, great. And let's see if it does work. So we'll return this or today. Or we can easily use the date fns. So I date dash fns, right? Okay. So that instead of all of this, we can just say return. Yeah. So return format from now where, okay, great. So where we import this format from now from date fns, has it been installed? Okay, still, okay, so maybe I can just come here and see. Okay, so we just pass in the date from now, right? Distance from now. So we just show that we just say add suffix to true. Okay, so here and this one get formatted dates. That's all. Something seems to be wrong. Okay, there is an issue that says that this, you mean, did I change the name? Yeah, this is the name, right? Okay, I think it's fine now. Okay, so let's make sure we reload the page. What is the issue? Okay, so this date fns, I think I need to run it again because of the package we just installed, this one. So let me reload it and see. Okay, so now we have it here. So I think we can okay, so I'm going to say that okay, so if it's dark, it should be 400, and if it's light, it should be 500. Okay, so this is what we have. Great. Okay, and below this div here, I'm going to have another div. Okay, so here it's going to be flex row, items to center, justify to between, and margin top of 1. Okay, so inside it I'll have a test, and the test will be I'm just going to say get last message preview. Okay, so something like this, get last or let's just say get message preview, that's all. Okay, so I'll come up here and create that function. Okay, great. Okay, I can see we have something already, and okay, so in here let's check. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say if there is no last message, right, I think it will not be good. What I'm going to return is no message yet, right? Okay, great. And if the message exists, right? Okay, so we need to check if it's media or it's not. So I'm going to say if item dot last message, right? Great. Dot media exist, right? And item dot last message dot media dot length. So if the length it's greater than 0 means there's something, right? Okay, in that case I'm going to say cons media type should be item. Okay, so media type will be the this, then we pick the first index and take the media type, right? The type. Okay, great. So yeah, this is it. So take this and take the type. Okay, so now we check the type. If media type, right? Media type dot start with image, right? If it start with image, then we can return image with the photo icon. Yeah. So, okay. So to get this, you can just go on the internet and just search for emoji copy paste. I think emoji copy paste, right? And just search for the icon you want. So just open this website. Okay, and just search for the camera. Okay, so then you can just copy it like this, right? I mean, you can just click on it and I think, okay, copy. Yeah. And just come and paste it here, right? Okay, great. So if it's image, I'm going to return image. Else, if we start with video, okay, then I'm going to return video. Else, if you start with audio, we can return this. And if you start with file, you can return this. I think that is pretty well. Yeah, whether document or file. Yeah, which one should we see file? Maybe file. Okay. Okay, great. So now that we're done with that one, we can now say return. So if this dot test, right? Okay, so I'm going to say this. If the test exists, then we can say item dot last message dot test as okay. So that is this if clause, right? It's for all of this. So if none of this matches, meaning that if none of this match, then we get here, then we check if the test exists. If it exists, we show this. If not, what can we do? We can do this. Okay, so if it does, okay, so let's do something. We don't want to have okay, I think it should be fine. We can do something. I was going to check for whether the message is very long. So you can see some of the messages are very long. So how we can do that is by having something called number of lines in React Native and just say 1, so that it will only be 1 line. Okay, great. So I think that's fine, right? Now let's style this. Class name. Okay, so here what we'll do is that first let's also check that the text should be small, and now check if it's dark, right? But first then let's check for whether the item dot on read messages, right? On read message count is greater than 0. So if the unread messages count is greater than 0, then we'll check if it's dark. We'll check also if it's dark, then we're just going to say test dash white, then font semi bold. Okay. Okay. Let me remove this for now. Okay, so here we're checking that if it's dark, right? If it's this, so okay, so let me remove this one first so that you understand something. Okay, so first we check if it's greater than 0, right? We'll do this, else we'll do this, right? I hope you understand this one. Did I do something wrong? Okay, I think I'm missing the closing parenthesis. Great. Okay, so yes, great. So now here it's where we also going to check this one, right? Okay, so if it's greater than, we're going to also check if it's dark or not, right? So if it's dark, then the text should be white semi-bold, and if it's light, the gray 900, and also font semi-bold. Okay, So I think the font semi-bold, we can even move it out. Can't we move it here? Okay. Let's finish with it, then we'll look at it. Okay, so on the other part, which is this one also, so if the item is also not greater than 0, we'll still have to check and say the text should be gray 400, and if it's light, it should be 500. Okay. Okay, so let me make sure I reload it and see that everything is working perfectly. Okay. Okay, so if the message is not red, now you can see that it is a bit darker, and when it is red, it's going to be light, right? Okay, great. I hope you now understand what we're doing. So what we're doing is that we check that if the on red count is there, right, then we need to make it a little bit bolder, right? But if it is not, if it's red, then it will be a little bit lighter. Okay, great. So now that we're done with that one, we can also have another one. But first, let's check if the on red count, right, is greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, okay, Kesa is doing a lot today. So we're going to say test, and the item should be center. Okay. So we're going to say that the item to center, yeah, and the background should be blue 500, and px of 2, py. Maybe we can just remove this px and py, and let's say if we can use width of 6, height of 6, right? And we're gonna say rounded to be full. Okay, text should be x, right? I think that's pretty well. Let's make this a view instead. Great. And inside the view, then we'll put the text, right? The text should be white and font of semi-bold. Okay, so this, if it's greater than 99, I'm just going to say 99 plus, else it should be this, right? Okay, so something like this. Great job. So let me go here and change one of them to 99 and see. Okay, so we see it's meaning it's a little bit smaller. So okay, so here the text should be here. Okay, smaller. Okay, and I'm going to also say test dash center. Okay, so yeah, justify to also center. Great, and I think this should be fine. I think it fits in perfectly. Okay, so that is great job. So now we're done with this one, right? Great. Okay, so let me try something, and okay, so now you can see automatically now it's switched to dark, right? And you see on dark, that's where you can see this one very well, right? Okay, so now you can see the blur effect. You can see what is at the back, right? Okay, great. So yeah, we're done with this one, right? So you can click on it. Very beautiful. Great. Okay, so we're done with the card, and this. So here, now let's make sure we fix the floating bottom, which will do the adding, right, for us to create a new chart. Okay, so I'm going to put that one here. So new chart bottom, let me label it like that. So I'm going to put a view, and inside the view I will call okay, let me just call it new chart bottom. Okay, and here I'm going to put class name. I will say absolute, and bottom, okay, right, for I think the bottom should be 24, so that it will come a little bit up. So here, new chart bottom dot tss export cons new chat button. Okay. Okay, great. So also, as usual, we need to check for dark. Okay, so we have a lot of things going on here. Okay, so view. Okay, and now let's make it touchable opacity. Okay, class absolute. Okay, bottom 6 and right also 6. Absolute. Absolute. Okay, absolute. Great. And on press, right? On press, I'm gonna say go to router dot push. I'm gonna go to new chat. Okay, so make sure you import router from Expo router. Okay, this does not exist for now, so we'll have the one in there. So maybe we can just create it here. New chat dot tss. Okay, so cons new chat this, yeah, and import this with a test that says new chat. Okay, so the new chat page here will be where we'll actually search for the user and chat with them, right? Okay, so here we can go inside this one, which is the one outside the tab, and add a new screen, right? Which will be this new chat. Okay, so maybe I can import this from here straight up. Okay, and now you can see that now the error is gone because the page exists now. Okay, great. So yeah, so now what again do we do? I'm going to put in a view. So this here. Okay, so width of 14, height of also 14. Okay, rounded dash full. Okay, and now let's check. Is dark. Okay, so if it's dark, I'm just gonna say blue dash 600. I think I think we don't even need whether it's dark or not. Let's make it blue 600 all the time. Okay, yeah, and item to center. Yeah, so item to center, justify to also center, and maybe I don't know whether shadow web. Okay, great. So now inside this I'm going to put material community icon. Okay, so import it from Expo vector icons, material icon, and here I'm going to use chat. Or should I use no, let's use a different one. Let's use message plus. Okay, so the size is going to be 24. If it's dark, this and that, nah, let it be white all the time because the font, the background is blue, so white all the time will be pretty good. Okay, so I think I can see it here. Can see that. So BG blue. Okay, so let me remove this from here. Great, and let's see. Great job. So rounded full. Okay, so here, rounded full. So why is the rounded full not working? Okay, like no, that's this. I'm just gonna say border radius of 50. I'm just gonna see if this one works. So why is this one not working? Okay, let's try again and see. Rounded dash full. Okay, I think it's working now. Maybe they will typo. Okay. So let me refresh it and see. Okay, so we have it here. Great, everything is here. Now you can see we have one little problem. One little problem, which I don't know to say whether it's a problem or not, but we have some. You can see that, there's a chart hidden behind this, right? So how we can fix it is this. The flat list has something called content container style, right? Okay, so that we can just say it should be equal to double curly braces, and we just say padding bottom. We only want the padding bottom of 100. We're gonna give you just something very large. Okay, so that we can scroll up, right? We can scroll up like this. Okay, so even if it's hidden behind this, maybe I can just say 120 and see, so that I can scroll above this and see the message, right? Okay, great. So yeah, so far so good. Yeah, so I think we've done well. So yeah, so in the next one we'll work on the here the stories, right? Okay. Yeah, we'll work on the stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe.